Hey everybody, it's Gloria Ortiz with Real People Realty, and some of you may know me as Glow, as in hashtag Go with Glow. Today's Formation Friday is going to be about how we can own property. There are 3 different ways we can own them, and I'm here with Jennifer Poltrak, who is an attorney, and she's going to explain to us what 3 different ways we can own property when we buy them. Hello.
Hi, Gloria. Thank you very much. As she points out, there are 3 ways to actually own property in the state of Illinois. And these ways, of course, only apply when you buy it with more than one person.
Okay.
If you buy it with one person, you just buy it straight out, either in a trust or individually. If you buy the property with one or more individuals, as I said, there are 3 ways. The least common is called tenants in common. That means if 2 or 3 individuals buy a property, they own it in tenants in common. If something were to happen to one of those individuals, the property does not transfer to the other owners. The property, in fact, then goes to the individual who is no longer here, to their heirs, either to their children or to their siblings or to their parents, whoever that would be.
Whoever that person would designate.
Correct.
Okay.
It would go, I would usually say downward or upward as opposed to sideways.
Okay.
An example would be if you were to buy, say, a rental property or something with your brother or another individual, and you would want that property to go to your heirs if, in fact, something were to happen to you.
Okay.
The second type and the most common type is joint tenancy.
Okay.
That is if 2 people were to purchase a property, and if something were to happen to one, it could be more than 2, by the way.
Okay.
If something were to happen to any of those individuals, the property would then go to the other individuals by operation of law, kind of like a lateral move, as I sometimes say.
Okay.
So it could be 2 or 3 individuals. The property then just moves in that direction. It's kind of...
It doesn't matter who. Like me and you could buy a property and something happened to me and it automatically goes to you. You own it 100% now.
Correct.
Okay.
And you don't need to do anything. It just happens by operation
Automatically.
of law.
So is that mostly like in marriages?
It is. Sometimes there are people buy the house if they're not married, or siblings could agree to purchase it. Anybody can purchase property as a joint tenant.
Okay.
It just really, all of these different ways of owning property really deal with what happens to the property if somebody passes away.
Okay.
Somebody is no longer around. The third way is the most recent way that the Illinois statute created, which is called tenants by the entirety. This is a special ownership status that can only be utilized by spouses. They can be regular spouses, they can be same-sex spouses, and what it does, it's very similar to joint tenancy, but in the event that one of the spouses during the ownership of the property has debts, the other spouse's portion of the home is protected from those debts.
Okay.
So, again, you have to be married. It can only obviously be 2 individuals. The property you're purchasing that way needs to be your primary residence, so you can only own one property as tenants by the entirety.
Okay.
And, of course, you have to obviously live in it and use it as your primary residence in order to be able to get this extra protection that we afford to married individuals.
Now, just one question about that. You know, there's a lot of couples that are common law. So they're not legally married, but maybe they've been together 17 years, living together. Does it recognize that, or you have to legally be married?
You have to legally be married.
Okay.
In order for that status to happen or to be allowed.
Okay.
So it really depends on what you want, as I said, what you want to have happen to the property in the event something happens to you. Normally when you get to closing, again, if there's 2 or more individuals, the lawyer will ask, what would you like to happen, or what would you like to have happen? And we then designate on the closing documents the way it would happen. And of course, this can be changed. If that needs to be done, we do that. We can file a second set of papers that basically either change the designation. Sometimes we have young couples who purchase property prior to getting married, and then they get married, and then we designate the property then as tenants by the entirety to give them extra protection, once they're married, I should say.
Right. Okay. So if you guys are attending a closing and your attorney is not asking you how you want to own the property, you may want to let them know. But normally the attorneys will always ask, how do you want to own this property? And then you would let them know at the closing, and right there and then all the paperwork is done. So there's nothing extra you have to do. Everything is done at the closing for you. I hope this was informative to you. If you have any questions at all, my contact information is on this page. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'll see you guys next month with a different topic. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you very much, Gloria.